All right, so we just saw Space Jam 2. What'd you think?
I thought it was actually very entertaining.
I know. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Circle Club. I'm Tyrone.
Matt.
And we just saw Space Jam 2, so we're here to do a no spoiler review. I'll link right here to put our spoiler version. But Matt, what did you think off the bat, your first reaction?
I thought it was incredibly entertaining. There was a lot more humor than I was anticipating.
Yep.
And the basketball references, for any fan, they're just going to love them. What about yourself?
Yeah, I felt this movie was definitely geared towards people who are basketball fans. We saw it with children. That's the best way to see this movie, is to have kids around the movie
they were
theater.
going crazy.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's like the type of vibe you want. I feel like if I saw it on HBO Max, I might feel a little bit different. Like maybe I would have taken it a bit too more serious.
Yeah, you didn't have that full-on experience.
Yeah.
It was a good movie to be the first one to go back to theaters. This is mine. So
Yeah. So I've actually gone back to the theater, and this is actually the most packed I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah. So yesterday I saw Anthony Bourdain. There's a review coming out for that soon of the documentary. But it was very packed in there. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of noise.
One thing I didn't really love so much was the music. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like you said, when we were driving back, we were actually playing the soundtrack, and we didn't recognize any of the songs. So, for those who were a big fan of the original, like "Welcome to the Space Jam, Space Jam, Space Jam," there's none of that. Sadly, there isn't really this iconic sound.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was sitting there thinking what's that moment gonna be? Like, is it gonna be a Kendrick Lamar song or Travis Scott or whatever?
Yeah.
But that moment never came. It didn't fully take away from the movie.
Yeah.
And for me personally, it kind of separated it from Space Jam, the original.
A little
and I
bit.
thought that's what this movie did a lot for me was it felt like its own thing. Like, obviously, they make references to the original one. They laugh at it.
Of course.
It really, to me, it was like 2 hours of self-deprecation making fun of LeBron.
That was very surprising.
Yeah.
For someone like LeBron James, there's the way he kind of poked fun at himself, I think was like a breath of fresh air. Where we as the audience, you realize okay, we don't got to take this seriously. They're in a Toon World being silly. So
yeah.
That's kind of the general vibe of the movie.
Yeah, and the way it starts out, it's funny because. And I think it kind of mirrors his character. He's very serious. He's he's on his son. And the premise, which we didn't get to, so the premise is LeBron James' son is more interested in gaming than basketball. And so, he's this tough dad who wants his son to follow his path as well. And for us, maybe it's because we're basketball fans and we know LeBron. That was one part that didn't feel
I
so
felt
real.
a little weird because he's usually just kind of a fun-natured person.
Yeah. And then you get to the second half, that's when things kind of become more like him and he feels more comfortable. But honestly, overall, I thought the acting job really wasn't that bad. The first half, like I said, that was a little iffy, but once he got to be more himself, he was more playful and silly. Taco Tuesday.
I think a lot of the side characters as well did a fantastic job. I think whoever played his wife, we'll put the name down.
Yeah.
She did a fantastic job. She commanded a lot of charisma, especially in her scenes with LeBron James. So overall, the athlete acting, they cut that to a minimum. So there wasn't really too much to complain about.
Yeah, I mean, so they brought in some other NBA and WNBA stars, and one thing we were talking about on the ride back, we were like, should they have put more Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard? But that's a bit of a risk. And I think in the first movie we saw with Space Jam, the first one, the original, a lot of the acting wasn't great, and it felt a lot of force. And it's because obviously that's not who they naturally are.
Exactly. So I think they knew that going in, and they kind of just we're just gonna focus on you came here for the tunes,
right?
And I think that's what shines the most.
I will say though, LeBron James, if he wanted, has a very bright future doing voice acting. Because that was where he really shined.
And that wasn't the first time he did voice acting. He did voice acting in in Abominable Snowman movie.
Oh right, that's
years ago, before pre-pandemic. So this is I think this would be a fun avenue for him, especially with more kids oriented media. So.
Yeah. Overall, Matt, what did you think?
If we're going by the Circle Club rating for entertainment purposes, I give it a 4 out of 5. I laughed quite a bit, and just the energy, it was just very exciting and something to be just joyful about.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm gonna go in the same direction. like in the beginning, the first half, I was kind of leaning towards a 3. And then as it got on, I was like 3.5 because I was like, this kind of, I can see half people not liking, half are better. But the more self-deprecation, the more references, I was like, this is just too fun not to enjoy. There was one moment, I'm not going to say, we'll talk about it in the spoiler, that everyone in the crowd didn't see coming. And they were like, oh my God, like specifically the young kids. And we were like, wait, what? They know that show? It was pretty awesome. That was a great moment, But I think Space Jam, A New Legacy, is definitely worth watching, going out and see. If you saw Space Jam, A New Legacy, comment below, let us know what you thought about it. And remember to subscribe and look out for our shows every Tuesday and Thursday.